Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the ABA Coffee in the Park. My name is Cam Milliken, and I am here with my co-host extraordinaire, Jennifer Herrick, the Executive Director of the Atchison Business Association. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello, Cam, on this a little windy day.
Little windy, but it's sunny out, it's beautiful, it's warm, it's spring has sprung, and allergies are in full bloom. But it's great, I love it.
It is.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
You know what, Cam? I have to let the listeners know. There were 2 Canadian geese in our ditch yesterday.
There were.
And Cam had a bit of a problem with this situation.
I did not like those geese sitting in our ditch. We named them Fred and Wilma, and they weren't there this morning when I arrived, but they had left some telltale signs.
Well, Cam tried to shoo them away, and they just looked at him.
I honked,
like,
and they wouldn't go. So
nothing.
anyway, the geese are back, I guess, and just kind of landing everywhere, and leaving signs of landing everywhere. But nonetheless, I think that's a good sign because it does mean spring has come and summer has come. Jennifer, tell us about some very important people.
We would like to thank our gold corporate sponsors, which include the MyShack group of companies, Genix, Parkland County, and Bow Valley Credit Union.
Yes, and without them, we would not be able to do what we do. So thank you all. And I just want to say right off the top, thank you to all our listeners, because we just have a bucket load of listeners.
We sure do.
All over the world.
All over the world. It's amazing when we look at the map.
Yeah, not just here, but all over the world.
Yes,
it's incredible.
However you found out and you're listening.
That's right.
Thank you.
Those listening in the Philippines, thank you. Anyway, we need to tell everybody that we are coming to you live from the Wall Coffee Roasters in the heart of beautiful downtown Atchison. That's right. So if you've never been to the Wall Coffee Roasters, you need to come. You need to grab a coffee and sit back. This time of year is great. It's so bright and sunny in here. It's awesome. And pretty soon I think Michael will open the patio so you can be sitting out on the deck over there, and that'll be awesome. So that being said, if you hear any noises in the background, coffee whirring, people talking, kids screaming, although I don't see any kids in here today.
It has happened.
It has happened. Just know that we're live at the coffee shop, and that's what we're doing. So it's exciting. So I'm excited about our guest today. Jennifer, let's get started.
Our guest today is Thu Parmar. Did I say your last name correctly?
You
Parmar,
did.
I did. Thank you. Who is the Vice President of the Canadian Red Cross.
That's right.
So welcome.
Welcome, Thu.
Thank you very much for having me. It's very exciting and amazing to be here today.
Now, fresh off the plane from Palm Springs, California. What were you doing in Palm Springs?
Well, I was having my first Cella at Coachella Festival.
Coachella! You were rocking with the rockers in the Cella.
27 acts in 3 days
Come
in
on.
record heat. It was amazing.
Unbelievable. And you survived to tell about it.
I definitely did survive. I actually feel a little bit rejuvenated. You would think after 30,000 steps every day for 3 days.
Yeah.
Yes, but I was prepared. I wasn't wearing heels in my 20s.
I was wearing
running shoes.
This is why I like her. She is practical and she knows.
That's just awesome. So, is it everything that everybody says, Coachella?
It is. It's everything and more, I think. You're not really prepared for anything.
Yeah.
So it is beautiful music, outside listening. You can be in a corner. You can be right on the front stage there.
Yeah.
You can be anywhere and having a great time. You can have whatever experience you want to have.
Were you in the mosh pit? You weren't. Were you like body surfing through the mosh pit?
That would not be me.
I don't see that in her. I could be wrong.
I think there's a side to Thu that we may find out a little bit more about today. But anyway, I think that's really awesome. For those of you who may be listening who don't know what Coachella is, it is one of the largest annual music festivals in the United States in Coachella, just outside of Palm Springs. And so I knew that Thu was going to Palm. This is fun. You told me you were originally going to Palm Springs to relax and rest with your family, and now you tell me this morning I went to Coachella. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I think that's actually pretty relaxing.
No, I guess so. Yeah, no, I guess that's pretty cool. So that's awesome. So yeah, cool.
All right, let's kick it off like we always do and find out a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
Thu, tell us a little bit about your story. Where did you grow up? And where were you born?
Yeah, well, I was actually born in Thailand.
Come on.
Yes, so my parents and family actually fled Vietnam in the 1980s they were refugees, and so they had to leave Vietnam because my father worked for the wrong side of the government, I guess I would say.
Okay.
And so it was my two sisters and my dad and mom left Vietnam in a boat and sailed for 3 days and 3 nights, and they got to Thailand and they found a refugee camp.
How old were you?
I was not
You were
born
born-
yet.
Oh, you were not born yet. Okay,
yes,
yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Right.
So my mom was pregnant with me, and because we were in the refugee camp, we weren't allowed to get on the flight until I was 1 month old.
Yeah.
And so I was actually born in the refugee camp, and then at 1 month old, in December of 1981,
Yeah.
we flew to Edmonton and landed here in beautiful Edmonton, Alberta.
Now, when you say we, your whole family flew here? Everybody came? Your mom, your dad,
My
your
mom,
siblings?
my dad, my two sisters,
Okay.
yes, and we came here in, I think it was like the coldest winter ever.
Right. Yeah. Welcome to Edmonton.
Coming from
yeah.
Thailand and
Yeah.
dropping down in Edmonton is a shock to the
It's
system.
like, hey, welcome.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it was definitely for a beautiful life,
Yeah.
somewhere we were looking for opportunity, we were looking for a place to be safe, and that's where Edmonton was.
What an incredible story, because I mean there could have been so many variables to that. Had your mom and dad stayed in Vietnam, what might have happened,
Yeah.
had the trip not gone well from Vietnam to Thailand, all of that kind of stuff. What an amazing story.
Yeah, well, actually, interesting enough, in the boat, there are typically 2 motors in the boat. And so when we started off sailing
Yeah.
away from Vietnam, one of the engines died.
Oh.
And so the operator told my dad, what would you like to do? Would you like to go back, or would you like to continue sailing? And my dad said, if we go back, we die. If we go forward, we
my gosh.
might survive.
Yeah, have a chance.
We might have a
Wow.
chance.
Isn't
That,
It's unbelievable.
I mean, and that is just so hard for most of us, probably all of us, to fathom. I mean, what an incredible choice your dad had to make at that moment. But I love that if we go back, we die. We don't know what's ahead, but we go forward. Incredible.
It is. And it's incredible for them to tell me the story now.
Yeah.
Because when we got to the refugee camp, we had the option of going to Canada,
Right.
to the United States,
Right.
California, actually,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and Australia.
Oh.
And they chose Canada.
Why?
Yes, why?
They chose Canada. Well, number one, because my grandfather always had a great sense of Canada. He said that it was a wonderful country
Yeah.
and one that had democracy and that a land of opportunity. And he wasn't wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
And why Edmonton?
Well, I think we actually had one family that was living
okay.
here.
So, yeah.
And so, although they still were not, established and everything,
Yeah.
we actually came here, and my parents actually, and I, and the two sisters, we lived in a hotel
Really?
for a month. Yeah, right by Kingsway Garden Mall.
Really?
Before they could
Come
figure out,
on, yeah.
before they could figure out, how to get things done, and even they didn't know the language.
I was gonna say, they probably didn't know
now,
the
how old
language.
were you when you came?
I was 1 month old.
1 month old. Okay.
Yes, and
So-
I think to this now because I have kids now, and I think also to myself like, as a mother having 3 young kids and just having a baby, like I am so
Holy
appreciative of my
smokes.
mother. I now
Yeah.
call her
Yes.
every day and tell her how much I love her.
Wow,
Yes.
that's fantastic.
Yes.
Amazing. And I mean, you try to wrap your head around that. You come from another country, you come here, you don't speak the language, you're living in a hotel. I mean, there's just the uncertainty of everything, but yet you're in the right place.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We also had just a lot of support around us.
Yeah.
There was actually a church that came and supported
Okay,
us.
yeah.
And so they brought us like a Christmas tree, because we were only a few
Yeah,
days away
yeah,
from
yeah.
Christmas. And so it is an incredibly special occasion at my
Sure.
household all the time. But my parents, they were able to work low income jobs. They
Yeah.
worked for Capital Health at the time as cooks. And then they realized, maybe we could do something different, and so they opened up a business,
Really?
a Chinese restaurant, actually in downtown Edmonton. It failed very quickly. Because my mom is Vietnamese,
Yeah.
and she
Yes.
said, I really can't cook Chinese food.
That's great. I love it.
But unfortunately, they had signed the lease already, and
Oh, yeah.
so they didn't know
yes.
what to do. So they
Right.
actually had friends who actually could cook Chinese food.
Okay.
And so they made a bit of a handshake deal where they opened up their restaurant, which was called Pagolak in downtown Edmonton. And my parents opened up a small a corner shop in the restaurant called Nhung Hoa Sandwich, which is Vietnamese submarines.
Right. Okay.
And that is really, we're one of the families that brought Vietnamese submarines to Edmonton.
That is really cool. That is so cool. Wow. And so how long were they there? How long did they have that downtown? How long did...
Oh, all the way up until I graduated from university. So that so that business put all three of us through university. My sister is a teacher. The other one is a nurse. I am a pharmacist by trade. And so that put us through the schooling.
Okay. Wow. This is amazing. Okay. So a couple of questions here out of all of this. I mean, there's a million things here. Where did you go to high school?
Emmy Lazert. Emmy Lazert.
What was the mascot at Emmy Lazert? Emmy Lazert.
Voyagers.
The Voyagers. Okay.
I don't think anybody has asked me.
What is it?
I'd like to see that mascot paddling. Anyway, I went to Rochep.
Amazing.
We're the Thunderbirds, so we were your rivals in sports and everything like that. Okay, so you went to high school. Then what'd you do?
Graduated, and then I went into university right away. So I got into university when I was 17 years old. Yeah. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to the beer gardens at that time.
No, a little young, yeah.
But then I ended up, my sister, who is 6 years older than me, she enrolled me into classes for pharmacy. So she basically said, "This is what you're gonna do," and I said, "Okay."
Is that what you wanted to do?
You know what? I think at that point in time, I was open for anything. And so I was basically general sciences. I ended up getting into pharmacy after 1 year, so was able to get into pharmacy and had a blast. You know, it was 120 students in the same group. We had a great community, and we were just having a really good time.
And this was at the University of Alberta?
At the University of Alberta, yeah. And so it's just like being at home there.
How long is pharmacy? How many years is that?
4 years back then. Okay. It is not I think it's longer now.
I was going to say, is it 7 now?
Well, you actually graduate with a doctor of pharmacy now from the University of Alberta, and so I think it's like 2 years. Some people get a 4-year degree before, but it's changed so much pharmacy. And when I graduated from pharmacy, I wanted to change how people perceived pharmacists, because people used to say to me, "Do you think that pharmacists are going to be replicated by vending machines at one point in time?"
Yes.
And I thought to myself, what an interesting question.
Yes.
And so I worked in hospital pharmacy. I worked at Alberta Hospital. I worked in community pharmacy. I worked for all of the large chains and the independents. My first job was actually in Spruce Grove at Grove Drugs out here.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yes.
So you were a pharmacist. That's what you did. Did you like it? Did you enjoy it?
I really enjoyed it. I think one of the things is that people didn't understand what pharmacists did, right? And so we had all this knowledge and all these years of school training in drugs. And so people kept on coming, at the Safeways and at the Walmarts, so they would actually, where's the meat? Where's the toilet paper? Yeah. And it was just explaining what pharmacists
Store
did.
directory. Right. Yeah, that's right.
So then basically I decided, I actually moved to Saskatoon for a year.
Oh, okay. Yes. Saskatchewan.
And I actually could not find a job there if my life depended on it.
Come on.
Yes, it was very interesting coming from Alberta, which
Saskatoon.
was booming. And everybody was actually moving from Saskatoon to Edmonton back then.
Wow.
And so I went there obviously for my now husband, who went to school there in Saskatchewan.
Oh, okay. Well, wait a minute.
Let's back that up.
Back that up a little bit. So, okay, you met him where?
In Edmonton, yes.
Was he in university?
In university.
What was he taking?
He was in general sciences.
Okay,
yes.
And you guys met?
Yes, we met, and then he went to Saskatchewan to do dentistry.
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
wow.
Okay. So was it love at first sight? Was it like?
She's saying,
did you hear the pause? Did you hear the pause there? Okay, if he's listening, what's his first name?
It was love at second sight.
Okay, what's his first name?
His name is Indy.
Sorry?
Indy.
Okay, Indy, if you're listening, we don't film this, so you won't see the look on her face. Anyway, so it was love at second sight.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, I think, for us, we both thought we were, too good for each other. I think, we went to actually high school together,
Oh,
and we
okay.
definitely were not high school sweethearts.
No.
But then in first year university, that really changed.
It changed.
It changed, yes. And
You started as studying partners.
yeah, well, we actually had similar friend groups.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
then I think there was we were studying in Hub Mall, and there was a moment.
We were studying in Hub Mall. I love this. We were studying in a Hub Mall. I love that.
So people listening probably have no idea what
No
Hub
idea
Mall
what- no.
is. No.
But
So
Hub Mall's in the university.
it's in the university. It's where like the food court
Yeah,
is.
it's where all
kind
the
of
students
central
gather.
hub.
Yeah,
the
it's
central
like a
spot.
meeting place,
It
a
is.
central meeting place. Wow. Okay, so you met at Hub. Well, you didn't meet at Hub, but you fell in love at Hub,
Basically.
basically, over a bowl of I don't know what, like soup or something,
Soup, a little cookies by George.
Cookies by
Cookies
George.
by George, if you're listening. Anyways, yeah. Well, that is amazing. Okay, so that's awesome. So you met.
Yes.
And then he was going to be is a dentist.
He is a dentist, yes.
But you had to go to Saskatoon to be a dentist.
Yes, he went to Saskatoon, and I ended up finding a job in pharmacy, except for
Okay.
I was working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 12-hour shifts.
Right,
and so
right.
we didn't actually see each other.
Right, yeah.
And so then I took another job where I was traveling as a remote pharmacist. So going to every
okay.
single extra foods there, being the only healthcare professional
Wow,
in
yeah.
these small towns. So Kindersley, Tisdale.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of these wonderful areas, actually, where I got to really grow as a pharmacist and got to see what we were doing.
Right.
I got my first paycheck, though, in Saskatoon and was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of taxes here.
Yeah.
So then I came back to Alberta.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good impetus to leave and come home. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, okay.
And so I came back to Alberta and actually ended up working for the provincial government, so managing the drug programs in Alberta for
Really?
8 years.
Okay.
And there I was actually able to change the way that pharmacists are
Yeah.
perceived and paid actually in Alberta.
All
so
right.
we implemented a way to pay pharmacists
Okay.
for injections, immunizations,
Yes.
for care plans, for
Yeah.
doing all of these great pharmacy services. And so I got to be a part of that large kind of
Yeah.
systematic change. So very cool to see later on,
Yeah.
10 years or 14 years later,
Yeah,
where
where it's yeah.
because now everybody's going to the pharmacies
course.
getting their
Yeah,
immunization.
no, yes.
Everyone's going.
Yeah.
And so they're a huge integral part of the healthcare system. And I
Right.
think being able to be paid
For
for
sure.
the services
Yeah.
is one of the coolest things
No,
ever.
they've come a long way, and the best part is pharmacists can now prescribe.
Yes.
And I think that's really great. And so, yeah, I think there's been a lot of changes. Okay, so you came back to Alberta. Your husband graduated.
Yes.
He came back,
He came back.
or did
yes.
he want you to go there?
Oh no, we were there for
just
school, and then
Okay.
we were coming back.
He came back and opened up a dental store or
Yes.
shop or
A dental
What
store.
do you call it? What a clinic?
Clinic.
Clinic. Sorry.
Dental
The
practice.
dental practice. Okay, you opened it. No, I don't go very much to the dentist. Anyways, okay. So and you got married when?
We got married in 2007.
Okay, here in Alberta.
Yes,
Okay.
in Alberta.
Yeah.
Downtown Edmonton at the Fairmont.
At the farm. Oh, okay. So you had a dental husband and you had a pharmacist wife. This is success at the best right here.
Yeah, you know what? We definitely were very lucky and blessed to have education.
Yeah.
We both came from very humble beginnings. Both of our parents were very poor.
Right, yeah.
And so it's very interesting
love
to
it.
watch us kind
Yeah,
of
I
grow
love
up
it.
and see what we can do. And I think that's actually what pulls you out of poverty
Yes.
is education
For sure.
sometimes.
Agreed,
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
But now I have a question because dentist, pharmacist, you went into not-for-profit.
Yeah, no, but I think there might have been something even in between there, wasn't there? Wasn't
yeah,
there?
that is true.
So,
So-
you hung up the lab coat.
Yes, I did. I actually still have my degree, and I just celebrated our 20th anniversary from graduating from pharmacy.
so you're
school.
still a pharmacist.
I still have my
Like,
license.
You're like
Yes.
a full-fledged
I am.
pharmacist.
Yes, but
okay.
I have not. I haven't been behind a counter for over 15 years.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah.
But I like to keep it because I like to be able to still understand what's happening in
And
the
if you ever
front
need to
lines.
open a shop in your garage or something. Anyway,
Well, that's kind of the
Yeah,
plan,
you never know,
right? That's always
Like,
the
roll
plan. Like,
up
if
the
everything
door
goes
and,
wrong,
yeah,
if anything goes wrong,
all the
I still have a
neighbors are
plan.
coming, and it's wonderful. Yeah, it's wonderful. Okay, but you left pharmacy.
Yeah, so I
Pharmacist.
left. Yeah, so I left.
Pharmacistry.
So I left the government, and then I ended up going to private industry. So I
Okay.
worked for 2 private companies doing government relations.
Oh.
Yes, and
Okay.
really, so I wanted to be
Oy.
able to bridge
Yes.
the public side with the private side
Right.
because sometimes both don't understand each other very
Yeah,
well.
no, I'm not. Yeah,
Right?
no,
And so
yeah.
actually government is a bit of a black hole.
Yes.
People don't actually understand like how decisions are made, how the government
Absolutely.
works. So being able to bridge that gap was
That's right.
actually very cool, and getting to learn a whole different side of government, how decisions get made.
I love that. That's right up because that's what I do. That's
Yes.
as public affairs. That's what I do. And so
Exactly.
I can relate to everything you're saying. And you're right. People don't have a clue. And then when you get into it, whoa, it's a whole new world. It's pretty
A
interesting.
whole
So,
new world, just like Aladdin.
Yeah, just that's right. Rub, hey, genie. Anyways, come on out. So okay, so you public affairs,
Yep.
sort of. That's what you're doing.
Yep.
How long did you do that?
I did that for 8 years.
8 years?
Yes,
That's a long time.
It's almost
And you
like
lived
the
to tell
number.
about it. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
It's almost
Yeah.
like the number of 8 years is kind of where you get that itch to try something
Sure.
else.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I really wanted to give back in a different way, and so I joined the Canadian Red Cross as the vice president.
Okay.
Yes, and honestly, there were 2 portfolios. One is the community health and wellness, which I know very well with pharmacy.
Right, yeah, yeah.
The other part though is in emergency management, and that is
Okay.
something that I got to learn really, really fast.
Yeah.
Because in the last year we had 3 large-scale disasters
Right.
in
So
Alberta.
sorry. When did you join the Red Cross?
I joined the Red Cross in 2023.
23.
Yes,
Okay.
so just shy of 2 years.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm now just shy of 2 years.
Okay. And your role, tell us about what that encompasses, what you do as the vice president. What does the vice president do?
Yeah, so it's really a job that's really in operations. So in operations for emergency management, you get to be part of a larger team that whenever there is a disaster, the Red Cross is there.
Right.
So we were with the city of Edmonton. So it's really interesting in disasters and emergency management. It's actually dependent on where the people are going.
Okay.
And so during May last year, the Fort McMurray wildfires, people were evacuated to the city of Edmonton.
Oh,
and so
okay.
the Red Cross is
Yeah.
a vendor
Yes.
of the city
Yes.
of Edmonton to help people get into hotel rooms, get food,
Right.
make sure that they're,
What
care and
about the
comfort.
Jasper fires? What-
Yeah, we were there.
So
We
you
were still there. Yes,
Yeah.
and so we were also with the city of Edmonton at their location in the reception center there, and we've still been there. I've been talking to people in Jasper since the
Yeah.
day of the fire. I spoke to the mayor the second day, and he said to me, "I never thought that the Red Cross would come to Jasper."
Is that right, eh?
Yeah, and it's true because actually, 10 years ago, the Red Cross was about 80% international and 20% domestic.
Right,
Okay,
yeah.
If you fast forward on to today, it's actually the opposite. We're 80% domestic
Okay. Isn't that
in
interesting?
Canada.
Yeah. So does every major Canadian city have a Red Cross?
It does actually.
It does.
And we're really a pan-Canadian. So we've actually moved to a system where if something is happening in Alberta, we actually have surge support all across Canada. So
Right.
we can have people from BC all the way to Atlantic to being able to come
Wow.
out and help us.
So tell us, what does the Red Cross do in the event of a disaster? It happens. What is you guys' role? What is the next steps for the Red Cross?
I like to describe it as there's always going to be the first responders who are actually getting the people to safety
Right.
and
Right.
to say. And I describe it as basically the first responders are putting the people on the bus, and the Red Cross is helping the people on the bus.
On the
Right.
bus,
Right, and
yes.
so we're helping them get into safe shelters. We're helping them make sure that they have food. We're making sure that they have care and comfort. And if there's any, we also are able to refer to other agencies who
Right.
can provide support, such as mental health support in times of crisis.
Sure,
I think
sure.
what's also interesting is that the Red Cross also helps with small disasters, so
Yeah.
house fires.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I wasn't aware of when I first joined here, and that we actually, majority of our staff are actually volunteers.
Right.
Yes.
The majority of our personnel are volunteers.
Yes.
So 70% of the people that work at the Red Cross are volunteers.
Yeah.
And so they answer the phone 24/7.
It's amazing
Yes.
what you guys do.
Yeah,
It
and
really
so,
is.
So when there is a house fire, we are called. We are there. We are helping the people. It is. It's amazing. I actually did my first needs assessment as the vice president with an emergency management coordinator, and we asked the individual, when will you be able to get back to your house? And he said, the fire chief told me that there is no house to go back
Wow.
to.
Yeah.
And so those are the moments that nobody thinks that they're going to be part of a disaster
No, of
or a
course not.
crisis.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But we are so fortunate. I am so fortunate to be part of an organization that helps people in need
Yeah.
with no judgment.
I think it's fantastic. You guys are there. You are the first responders. You are on boots on the ground, and those people, they have no idea. They're probably in shock.
They're probably definitely in shock.
In some ways, they're not even thinking about their future yet because they're having to process what's going on right now and how to deal with that and what they need to do. And you guys are there for them.
We are, yeah. And I think that is, to me, one of the most rewarding. It's actually one of the most parts of my career that have been so rewarding is being in not-for-profit and understanding how not-for-profits and charities work.
Right. I think it's I did a while back. I was doing some research because I wanted to take a course on what they call now mental health first aid.
Yes.
And so I looked at, you guys offer that,
yes,
but I missed the classes.
First aid.
So I actually am doing it online. But nonetheless, I thought that is fantastic because we never think about that. We think about physical first aid, but we never think about mental health first aid.
Right, and we actually have a lot of caseworkers who are trained also in psychological first aid and workers.
I think it's fantastic.
Yes, it is definitely a skill and a tool that the more people have, the better off, we as society would be. We also offer lots of training at the Canadian Red Cross, so we have the first aid programs.
Yes.
We just actually launched first aid for pets.
Come on.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
Whoa.
So there's an amazing array of information on redcross.ca in terms of training and what we do.
First aid for pets. That's cool.
Well, hey, stuff happens.
What if Fred and Wilma, something happened? We should know what to do.
I'll let you go do that. I'm not getting close to Fred and Wilma.
We won't talk about the Gophers, but nonetheless, do you guys still do blood?
We do not do blood.
You don't do blood anymore.
No,
good,
that's Canadian Blood Services.
Okay,
you betcha,
You guys got out of blood. That's good. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm just saying, they used to do blood.
I know.
They would be the blood people. Not that I ever went because I passed out, but nonetheless. So I'm just saying, I saw you guys do it all. Well, that's incredible.
Yeah,
you're incredible.
It's been really fun. I've always really wanted to give back, and so even in volunteering wise, I love to volunteer in my local community, in my local districts. I sit on many boards. I do love governance and bylaws. That is something that I really
That's where you
enjoy.
and I connect a little bit. So that's really awesome. Tell us, you're married to a dentist.
I am, yes.
How many children?
I have 3 kids.
3 kids.
Yes.
Wow.
So you're busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know any other way.
You don't know any other
even when I
way.
didn't have children, I feel like I was always working 4 jobs. I was working, for the government, working, frontline pharmacy. I was working at the gym. I was a gym instructor, a fitness instructor, and then I was also selling houses. So I don't know any other way.
Okay. See, there's all these little tidbits. Pharmacy, drugs.
Realtor.
Incredible.
That's how my life has been. It's always been, you never know when the opportunities are going to come. And so when we were building a house in Edmonton, the builder said, "Would you like a job? We would think you would do great, selling houses."
And you just naturally said, "Sure."
I try and say yes to as many things as possible.
That's right. In between saving lives and helping people after disaster, and I'll just sell a few houses. Yeah, it's good. I love it. It's great. You're amazing. You absolutely are amazing. And I know there's lots ahead. I don't think you're slowing down. I don't think you are. So
I don't think I know what I want to be when I grow up.
Right. Yeah. So
you know what? That curiosity I think is great.
Yeah.
But I also really admire your community involvement.
Yes.
Because it is people like you that keep our community going.
Yeah.
Without
100%.
volunteers and
100%.
people willing to get involved and give back, where are we as a society?
Yeah.
I agree. I actually think volunteerism is everyone's so busy these days, right? We don't get to volunteer as much.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, 30 minutes has flown
It's
by.
Oh my
by.
goodness.
I
You told us
know.
going
Isn't
fast.
that wild? I know. It's like, here we go. But
We have one final question that we ask all of our guests.
we do. We ask everybody this.
Tell us the best piece of advice you've been given, either personally or professionally, that you carry with you to this day.
Oh, and I think that this is a piece of advice that I have is instead of judging, ask questions.
Yeah. It's good.
I think that
It's
for
good.
me is that I think that especially at the Red Cross where we don't judge, we help anybody that is coming to to us. That's one thing that has been very liberating for me is not having to judge.
Right. Yeah.
And because we don't know where people come from.
Yeah.
We don't know people's back history. So I think that's one of the things that I say a lot in my life.
I think
love
that's
that.
fantastic.
I love it. I mean, yeah, you didn't judge me, so thanks for being my friend. That's pretty cool.
Anytime.
And anytime. And you're amazing, and this has been really amazing. And so we should give the Red Cross website again. That's
redcross.ca.
And so if people are interested, they should go to redcross.ca, volunteering, helping, even donating. Right? Because you need money. Yeah, all those things. That's really cool. Two, I know that we have not heard the last of you. I think there's more to come, and it's going to be awesome. And so thank you today.
Yes, thank you. This was amazing.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
What an amazing story.
She's an incredible lady.
She sure is.
She's a firecracker, and she is just amazing.
The story of her parents
Yes.
and what they went through to come to Canada.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of talk right now about how divisive Canada is, and I know we're coming together, but think about these people that have sacrificed so much from other countries and want to come here.
Yeah. And they wanted to come because they wanted a better life for their children.
Exactly.
And they got education, and they're amazing people. And you know what? They're making a difference.
They sure are.
That's cool. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed Tu's story. And again, if you're interested in the Red Cross, www.redcross.ca. And thanks everybody for listening. Like we said at the beginning, 7,000 listeners. Really appreciate it. And be sure to tell your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors, your enemies. If you don't have any friends, make one so that you can tell them about the ABA Coffee in the Park wherever you get your podcasts, or at www.atchisonbusiness.com. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.